Okay, I'm going to make some plum jam today using these. These are wild cherry plums that I picked last weekend. After I picked them I just washed them and I've left them in a colander in an airy place to ripen for a whole week, and that tends to soften them and make them a little bit sweeter and nicer for cooking. Otherwise they can be a little bit sour. I've got about 1.4 kilos of cherry plums here. Now normally when I would make plum jam I would remove the stones before cooking, and so I would cut the fruit in half and try to remove the stones, but these don't come apart very easily, and the flesh doesn't come off the stone, so I'm going to have to put the whole fruit in and cook it and remove the stones after cooking. Now one of the problems you can have if you do that is that you miss a stone and it ends up in the jam and then somebody breaks a tooth on it. So what I'm going to do first is count the plums so that I can count them into the pan, then I can count the stones out at the end, and I'll make sure I get every single one. Okay, so there we go. I've arranged them just in rows of 10 because that's the easiest way to count them, so I just do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and I've got 16 rows of 10 plus 2, so 162 plums. At the end of this cooking I'm going to be looking for 162 stones on this tray. So off we go. Right, so I've just got a large pan here and I'm going to put my 162 plums in there. Just a very small amount of water, maybe a couple of tablespoons, just to stop them burning on the bottom of the pan, and then we'll turn the heat on there and start cooking them. Once they start to stew down I'll add the sugar. Okay, that's only been cooking for a couple of minutes, but I'll give it a stir and you can see that the fruit is already starting to break up, so I'll just keep simmering that until the plums are completely broken down. Okay, so it's only been about another couple of minutes, and as you can see the fruit's really cooking down now. So I can quite safely add the sugar in a minute. I'm just going to take a whole kilo bag of granulated sugar because I've got 1.4 kilos of plums in here, so that's about the right ratio of fruit to sugar. Seems like a lot, but that's how jams work. And then I need to turn the heat up and get that boiling, because the jam will only set once a certain amount of the moisture has boiled away, and the sugar and the pectin will react to make a sort of jelly-like texture. So I just need to get that boiling with the lid off so that we can start actually making jam. Meanwhile we need to have a think about what the jam is actually going to be put into. So I've got a lot of jam jars that I've saved. I'm just going to give those a good wash. I've got all different shapes and sizes just to make it interesting. So I'm going to give those a really good wash and then we'll sterilise them. Right, so the jars I will sterilise. I'm just going to put them on a metal tray like this and put them in the oven at about 150 centigrade and leave them in there for 10 minutes until they heat up. That will sterilise those. The lids have all got a plastic seal inside them, so I can't put those in the oven or else that will just melt. So what I'm going to do with those, I've just put them in a jug and I'm going to cover them with boiling water and leave that to sit. So those have just been sterilised with boiling water. So back over at the cooker, we've got the jam boiling away now, and you can see it's all gone quite syrupy and the fruit's really breaking up well, but I can still just crush some of those whole plums against the side. They're just squashing very easily now, because that will help to release the flesh and the stone from out in the middle. I'm leaving the skins in because the part of the flavour is in the skins. With wild plums like this, it does make the jam a little bit more sour than it would if you completely strain it, but I quite like that. Okay, now the jam mixture has now broken down to the point that I can start pulling out the stones. It's turned into a quite liquid, syrupy mixture. So we're going to go fishing in there now for the jam, for the plum stones. And the way I do that is just get a slotted spoon and a pair of tongs and just pull out those stones one at a time. This is a little bit laborious, but at least I'm not burning my fingers. And what I'm going to do here is, hopefully I'm going to end up with 162 stones in this bowl, and then I'll know there are none left in the jam for anybody to break their teeth on. Okay, so we're at the point now where I think I might have got all of the stones out. Can't actually find any more when I'm scooping it up like that, but you never can be very sure. Is that one there? No. So I might have got them all, but I'm going to check by counting them. Okay, so there's all the stones. Once again, I've just put them in groups of 10 because it makes them easy to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 160 plus 1. So I know I'm still looking for one stone. So let's have a look and see if we can find it. Ah, there it is. The last one. So there we go. So now I can be completely confident that I have removed all of the stones from this plum jam. So now I can turn the heat right up, because we need to boil that hard until it comes up to 105 degrees, and then it'll be ready to put in the jars. Okay, so now if we check the temperature of this jam, it's just coming up to 105, so I'm going to bottle that now. So in goes our jam. And the reason I've done a selection of different sized jars, large and small, is if I get to the end and I've got half a jar left, I can put it in one of the smaller jars and it won't waste. So top them right up like that. Next one. They are very hot. We've just got the right lids for the jars, and I'm just screwing them down nice and tight. As that cools, the vacuum will pull the lids tight onto the jars. So there we go. I have now 4 jars of beautiful dark red plum jam, homemade. I've just got to let these cool, and then I can give them a wipe over because there's some spillage on the jars. And then I can save that for spreading on my toast in the winter, or I can use it as an ingredient. Actually, I've found that if you mix some of this with chili sauce, it makes a fantastic dipping sauce. So there we go. That is homemade plum jam. Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to see more of the same, why not click here to subscribe? Alternatively, click here to visit my channel. Or you could click here to visit the Atomic Shrimp website.